Hey, I'm Matt, I'm a developer, maybe like you, and for years I wanted to build something real. My own SaaS, side project, whatever. I tried, I failed more than once. Then I found something that actually worked. It wasn't the next Facebook. It wasn't a startup idea that was crazy. It was a simple Shopify app and it grew to $50,000 per month. In this video, I'm going to tell you the full story, the mistakes, the hard truth, and the exact process that I followed to make it work. It all started in 2010. I was 13 years old and I was playing a game called Dofus. If you're French, you probably know it. And one day, the game changed. The update was terrible and most of the community hated it. That's when I discovered private servers. People were rebuilding the old version of the game from scratch. And to be part of that, you had to learn to code. So I did HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript. I was just a kid, but I was obsessed. And I started building websites for fun. I used something called Le Site du Zéro, which is now Open Classrooms, and it's where I learned everything. At 16, I built my first real project, a website called Parents vs Enfants. It was supposed to go viral, but it didn't. I then built a Facebook group alternative for student associations around 18. Same results, nothing. And at that point, I told myself that maybe I wasn't made to be an entrepreneur. In 2017, when I was 20, I got an internship in a big French company and thought that maybe I'd just be a developer. But it didn't feel right. Like something was missing. And 2 months after starting, I joined a Facebook group about dropshipping. And I started helping people with code just for free, fixing little bugs, sharing scripts. And one day, the admins of the group DM'd me. We have an idea for a Shopify app. Want to build it with us? And what's crazy is that they had made more than $1 million and they wanted me to be the developer. So they had organized a meetup in Paris, and before it started, I had dinner with them. And I remember that I was so stressed that I invited a friend with me. And the app idea was pretty simple. It was a simple pop-up in the checkout where a customer wants to leave your checkout, you show a pop-up with a discount code. So I told them, who's going to pay for such a simple thing? But I had nothing to lose, so I built it and we called it Exit Counter. We didn't even list it on the Shopify App Store. We just shared the app in the group and we hit $1,000 per month in a few weeks. That was my first recurring revenue. It was insane. It was one of the biggest learnings. Like, you don't need something complicated to make money. Then Shopify changed the checkout rules and the app died overnight. So I then tried building more apps, but I repeated the same mistakes. So I wasn't validating anything, I wasn't tracking anything, so I quit again. And I started doing freelance job, small tasks only, helping merchants, learning more, watching, listening. The problem was that in 2020, I would graduate and I didn't want to work at a regular job. The last 6 months of that year were supposed to be for an internship. That's usually when students get their first experience and maybe get hired after. But I didn't want to. I wanted my business. And after talking with my parents who actually didn't really like the idea, I convinced my school to start a company instead of doing an internship. And that's how, in 2020, I gave it one last shot. What did I know? So, Shopify coding, building apps, I had more marketing knowledge, so I did what I knew. One last try, another Shopify app, and I called it WideBundle. But this time, I did it differently. So I had been working with Shopify for years. I had built a reputation, I knew merchants, I spoke their language, and I realized something. Shopify apps are one of the best ways for developers to build real, profitable SaaS businesses without needing a huge team or VC money. You don't need to go viral. You don't need a big audience. You need to solve one painful problem for one type of merchant. That's it. But here is the truth. Most developers don't fail because they can't build something. They fail because they build something that nobody wants. So you launch, you may You may get a few installs if you're lucky, but you're not making money. So you start building more features, hoping that something sticks. But more features don't fix your problem. They don't suddenly create revenue. They don't build a business. That's what I had to learn the hard way. When I launched WideBundle, everything changed because I used a different process. It wasn't just about building, it was about growing. So here is the process that I followed. 1. I found a specific problem people were already talking about. 2. I validated it with mockups and DMs. 3. I built a simple MVP in 2 weeks. 4. I launched without waiting for perfection. 5. I talked to every user constantly. 6. I used Mixpanel to track real behavior. 7. I improved onboarding and activation, not just features. 8. I grew using partnerships, word of mouth, and real support. That's what worked. And I launched WideBundle in May 2020. And by September, I was making $3,000 per month. By December, I was making $10,000 per month. And in less than a year, I was making $25,000 per month. It was just me and one customer support agent. That's only when I started to hire a developer. And then at some point in 2023, I hit $50,000 per month. It's not magic. It's just a system. But most developers skip it. As I was growing, in December 2021, I decided to document my journey on Twitter, on LinkedIn, with a newsletter and with a Facebook group. That's how 30,000 people started to follow me on Twitter, 6,000 on LinkedIn, 2,500 in a newsletter, and 4,500 in a Facebook group. And since 2021, I never sold anything. I just wanted to help. And I've seen that more and more developers were launching apps. I saw an opportunity there. I can now do more than just building apps. So I am currently working on SaaS businesses for Shopify app founders. And I also want to buy Shopify apps instead of starting them from scratch. So the more successful app founders they are, the better it is for me. So for this reason, I created the Shopify App Growth Blueprint, even if I had hesitated. Not because I didn't want to share, but because it's everything I've learned, and more importantly, it took a hell of a lot of time to write, but I did it. And this blueprint is all the theory you need to grow your Shopify app from getting the idea to a 7-figure exit. No videos, no filler, just the exact process I followed to go from $0 to $50,000 per month. And even if you're already making money with an app, I've packed strategies that you can use too. If you're a developer who wants to build something real, this is the blueprint that I wish I had in 2017. Inside, I show you how to find Shopify merchants, find app ideas, validate the ideas, find your first users, give excellent customer support, break plateaus, find your first growth channel, attract what really matters, improve conversion, improve churn, and we prepare for scale or even an exit and more. You can find the link to this blueprint in the description. If you want, you can try and learn how to grow on your own. That's what I did, but it took years. And if you want to go faster and actually build a business, the blueprint is there. And if you're into this kind of content, which is SaaS, Shopify, solo founder, developers, subscribe to this channel because I am sharing everything I've learned. Thanks for watching and good luck with your business.